For much of your life, you have probably believed that surviving was enough. You endured disappointment when you expected joy. You carried burdens that were never yours to carry. You kept moving when your heart wanted to rest. You learned how to stay strong because life gave you no other choice. And while surviving deserves respect, there comes a moment when survival quietly becomes a prison. If every day is spent simply getting through, then life slowly loses its color. You wake up, complete your responsibilities, fight the same battles, and go to sleep, hoping tomorrow will somehow feel different. But tomorrow rarely changes until you do. There is a powerful difference between surviving and living. Surviving is driven by fear. Living is guided by purpose. Surviving asks, how do I avoid more pain? Living asks, how do I become the person I was meant to be? One mindset protects you from danger. The other allows you to experience joy, growth, love, peace, and fulfillment. Both have their place, but only one leads to a meaningful life. Many people never realize they are still living in survival mode long after the danger has passed. Their body is safe, but their mind is still preparing for the next storm. They hesitate to trust, afraid of disappointment. They avoid opportunities because failure once hurt them deeply. They silence their dreams because hope feels risky. Without realizing it, they continue fighting battles that no longer exist. The chains are no longer around their hands, they are around their thoughts. Today is an invitation to lay down those invisible burdens. Not because your past was unimportant, but because your future deserves more than endless recovery. Every hardship you endured taught you resilience, patience, and strength. Those lessons are valuable, but they were never meant to become your permanent home. Strength is not measured by how long you can suffer. It is measured by your willingness to step beyond suffering and create a life filled with wisdom, courage, and peace. Living does not mean that problems disappear. It means you stop allowing problems to become your identity. It means you stop introducing yourself through your wounds and begin expressing yourself through your values. It means choosing growth over comfort, responsibility over excuses, and gratitude over bitterness. The circumstances around you may not change overnight, but the way you meet them can transform completely. Every sunrise offers the same quiet question. Will you spend today merely surviving, or will you truly live? The answer is not found in a single dramatic decision. It is found in the small choices you make every day. The choice to forgive instead of holding resentment. The choice to learn instead of complain. The choice to remain disciplined when comfort whispers. The choice to become present instead of remaining trapped in memories or fears. You have already proven that you are capable of surviving. Life has tested you, challenged you, and pushed you further than you thought possible. You are still here. That alone is evidence of remarkable strength. But now another challenge stands before you, one that requires even greater courage. The courage to stop merely enduring life and finally begin embracing it, because you have survived long enough. Now it is time to live. There is a silent trap that many people fall into after years of hardship. They begin to believe that their pain is who they are. They stop seeing suffering as something they experienced and start seeing it as their identity. At first, this happens without notice. You tell yourself the story of what happened to you so many times that eventually the story becomes the only version of yourself you know. You no longer introduce yourself through your values, your dreams, or your potential. Instead, you define yourself by your disappointments, your failures, your losses, and the moments that broke your heart. But there is a truth you must understand. Pain is an experience. It is not an identity. Think about the sky during a storm. Dark clouds may cover every inch of it. Thunder may shake the air. Rain may fall with incredible force. Yet no matter how violent the storm becomes, the sky itself is never damaged. The storm passes, but the sky remains. Your mind is much like that sky. Pain, fear, grief, and disappointment are only passing weather. They may stay longer than you wish, but they are not the essence of who you are. Beneath every painful experience is a person whose true nature has never disappeared. Many people unknowingly carry labels that keep them imprisoned. They say, I am a failure, I am broken, I am unlucky, I am weak. Notice the language. These are not descriptions of temporary experiences. They are permanent identities. Every time you repeat these words, your mind searches for evidence to prove them true. Your actions begin matching your beliefs. Your confidence weakens before you even attempt something new. You avoid opportunities because you expect disappointment. You stay silent because you assume your voice has little value. Little by little, the prison grows stronger. not because life built it, but because your thoughts reinforced it. Your past may explain why you think this way, but it does not have the authority to decide who you become. There is a difference between respecting your history and becoming trapped inside it. Wisdom remembers the lesson while releasing the pain. Attachment remembers the pain while forgetting the lesson. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day. At first, you needed it because it contained the tools necessary for survival. But years later, you continue carrying it, even though it is now filled only with rocks. Every step becomes exhausting. Every climb feels impossible. Eventually, you convince yourself that life is naturally heavy. You forget what it feels like to walk freely because you have carried unnecessary weight for so long. Many of those emotional rocks are beliefs that no longer serve you. The belief that you are unworthy because someone rejected you. The belief that you cannot trust because someone betrayed you. The belief that you cannot succeed because you failed once before. These beliefs are not facts. They are conclusions formed during moments of pain. A wounded mind often creates permanent rules based on temporary experiences. The strongest people are not those who never suffer. The strongest people are those who refuse to let suffering become their identity. They acknowledge what happened without allowing it to dictate what comes next. They understand that scars are reminders of healing, not proof of permanent damage. There is remarkable freedom in separating yourself from your pain. Instead of saying, I am anxious, you recognize I am experiencing anxiety. Instead of saying, I am a failure, you acknowledge I experienced failure, and now I am learning. This small shift in language changes everything. One statement locks you into a fixed identity. The other leaves room for growth. Your mind believes what you repeatedly tell it. If every day begins with thoughts of limitation, fear, and regret, your actions will follow that direction. But if every morning you remind yourself that your past prepared you rather than defined you, your choices begin to change. You become willing to take healthy risks. You become open to new relationships. You begin creating rather than merely protecting yourself. This does not mean pretending your pain never existed. It means honoring it without worshiping it. Some people build monuments to their suffering. They revisit old wounds every day, replay old conversations, and relive old disappointments until they become emotionally exhausted. Healing requires something different. It asks you to thank your past for its lessons and then continue walking forward. The world does not need another person trapped by yesterday. It needs someone who transformed yesterday into wisdom. Your experiences can either become chains that limit your future or foundations that strengthen it. The choice belongs to you. When you stop identifying with pain, you create space for qualities that were hidden beneath it. Courage begins to emerge. Compassion grows naturally because you understand what suffering feels like. Patience becomes easier because you know meaningful growth takes time. Confidence returns because it is no longer built on perfection but on resilience. Remember, every chapter of your life has served a purpose. Some chapters taught joy, others taught endurance, some taught love, while others taught discernment. None of them were written to become your entire story. The pages behind you contain lessons, but the pages ahead still hold possibilities. You have survived difficult seasons not to remain a survivor forever, but to become someone wiser, calmer, stronger, and more present. The person you are becoming is greater than the pain you have endured. Your future deserves to be written by your values, your discipline, your purpose, and your character, not by the wounds you refuse to release. Leave your pain where it belongs, in your history, not in your identity. Carry the wisdom. Leave the weight. That is the moment survival begins to transform into true living. There is a hidden consequence of surviving difficult seasons that many people never recognize. Long after the struggle has ended, the mind continues to behave as though the danger is still present. This is how survival becomes a habit instead of a temporary response. You wake up expecting something to go wrong. You become suspicious of peace because you have spent so much time preparing for chaos. When life finally becomes quiet, instead of feeling grateful, you feel uncomfortable. You begin searching for problems that do not exist because your mind has forgotten what calm feels like. The human mind is incredibly adaptable. Whatever it experiences repeatedly becomes familiar. If you have spent years dealing with disappointment, rejection, failure, or uncertainty, your brain gradually learns to expect those experiences. It starts predicting hardship before anything has happened. It convinces you that being prepared for the worst is the safest way to live. While this may have helped you survive in the past, it can quietly prevent you from enjoying the present. Think about someone who has walked through a dark forest for many years. Even after stepping into an open field filled with sunlight, they may continue looking over their shoulder, expecting danger to appear from every direction. The forest is gone, but the fear remains. Many people live exactly this way. Their circumstances have changed, but their thinking has not. They are free on the outside, yet imprisoned on the inside. This is why healing begins in the mind before it becomes visible in your life. You cannot fully enjoy peace if your thoughts are constantly preparing for war. You cannot build healthy relationships if you expect everyone to betray you. You cannot pursue meaningful dreams if you assume failure before taking the first step. The greatest obstacle is often not the world around you, but the beliefs that survival has planted within you. Your thoughts are not always facts. They are often echoes of old experiences. A painful memory can create a fearful expectation. One failure can convince you that you will always fail. One betrayal can make you believe that trust is dangerous. One season of loss can make you expect every blessing to disappear. Yet, none of these conclusions are permanent truths. They are stories written by pain, not by wisdom. The first step toward living is becoming aware of these stories. Observe your thoughts without immediately believing them. Ask yourself, is this fear protecting me from a real danger, or is it simply repeating an old memory? This single question creates space between you and your automatic reactions. It reminds you that you have the ability to choose a different response. Training the mind requires patience. Just as years of hardship shaped your thinking, new habits of peace must also be practiced consistently. Begin each morning by directing your attention toward what is real instead of what is imagined. Focus on the opportunities before you instead of the disasters your mind invents. When fear appears, do not fight it with panic. Meet it with awareness. Let it come and let it pass like a cloud moving across the sky. Thoughts only gain power when you cling to them. Another important lesson is learning to welcome peace without guilt. Some people feel uncomfortable when life becomes easier because struggle has become part of their identity. They believe they must always be fighting, sacrificing, or carrying heavy burdens to prove their worth. But your value has never depended on your suffering. Rest is not weakness. Joy is not selfish. Calm is not something you must earn after endless pain. These are natural parts of a balanced life. Notice how nature operates. A tree does not grow every moment of every day. It experiences seasons of growth, seasons of rest, and seasons of renewal. Rivers do not force the water to move faster than it should. The sun rises and sets without anxiety. Nature teaches that strength is found in rhythm, not in constant struggle. Yet human beings often believe they must remain tense every hour to succeed. This belief slowly drains the spirit. A disciplined mind is not one that constantly worries. It is one that knows where to place its attention. Instead of feeding fear, it feeds purpose. Instead of repeating old pain, it creates new possibilities. Instead of expecting life to become harder, it prepares itself to become wiser. Remember, surviving taught you resilience, but living requires trust. Trust that you are no longer the helpless person you once were. Trust that you have gained wisdom from every challenge. Trust that even if another storm comes, you now possess the strength to face it without allowing it to define you. The goal is not to eliminate every difficult emotion, but to stop allowing those emotions to control the direction of your life. The moment you stop expecting hardship as your permanent future, you begin creating space for hope. Hope changes how you think. It changes how you speak. It changes the decisions you make and the opportunities you notice. Slowly, your mind begins to understand that life is no longer something you must simply endure. It becomes something you can genuinely experience, appreciate, and enjoy. You have survived enough battles to know how strong you are. Now teach your mind something even greater, that peace is no longer your enemy, that joy is no longer unfamiliar, and that your future does not have to resemble your past. The greatest victory is not surviving another difficult day. It is waking up with a mind that no longer expects life to break you, but believes you are finally ready to live it fully. There are burdens that strengthen you, and there are burdens that slowly drain the life out of you. The difficult part is that many people cannot tell the difference. They carry emotional weight for so many years that it begins to feel normal. They wake up with guilt, walk through the day with resentment, replay old failures before they sleep, and call it reality. But what has become familiar is not necessarily healthy. Just because you have carried something for a long time does not mean it belongs to you. One of the greatest lessons in personal growth is understanding that your mind has limited space. Every thought you choose to hold occupies energy. Every unresolved emotion consumes attention. Every regret you replay steals a little more of your present. Imagine trying to climb a mountain while carrying a backpack filled with rocks. At first, you may convince yourself that you are strong enough, but as the journey continues, every step becomes heavier. The mountain is not getting steeper, the weight is becoming unbearable. This is exactly what happens when you carry guilt that should have become wisdom, anger that should have become understanding, or fear that should have become preparation. These emotions were meant to teach you something, not stay with you forever. Pain is a teacher, not a permanent companion. Many people hold on to guilt because they believe it proves they are responsible. They think that if they stop feeling guilty, they are ignoring their mistakes. But guilt that lasts forever does not make you a better person. It only keeps you trapped in the version of yourself that made those mistakes. A wise person learns, accepts responsibility, makes amends where possible, and then continues walking forward. Growth requires accountability, but it also requires forgiveness. The same is true with regret. Regret constantly whispers, if only I had done this differently. But life has never moved backward. Every second spent wishing for a different past is a second stolen from building a better future. The past cannot be edited, but the lessons it offers can shape every decision you make today. Instead of asking, why did this happen? Ask yourself, what has this experience prepared me to become? That single question transforms regret into wisdom. Resentment is another burden that quietly poisons the person carrying it. When someone hurts you, it is natural to feel anger. But holding on to that anger for years does not punish them. It imprisons you. Every time you relive the injustice, your body experiences the pain again. The person who caused the wound may have already moved on, while you continue reopening it in your own mind. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It does not mean pretending the wrong never happened. It means refusing to allow that wrong to control the rest of your life. Fear is perhaps the heaviest burden of all, because it disguises itself as protection. After experiencing failure, rejection, betrayal, or disappointment, your mind naturally wants to prevent those experiences from happening again. So it builds walls. It tells you not to trust too quickly. It tells you not to dream too big. It tells you not to take risks, because safety feels more comfortable than uncertainty. But those same walls that protect you from pain also block joy, opportunity, and meaningful relationships. Eventually, your prison begins to look like security. Real freedom begins when you question the stories your mind keeps repeating. Are you truly incapable, or have you simply believed that because of one painful experience? Are you really unworthy, or have you allowed someone else's opinion to become your identity? Are you genuinely destined to fail, or have you mistaken temporary setbacks for permanent truths? Most limitations exist long before reality confirms them. They are created in thought before they appear in action. Living fully requires making peace with imperfection. You will disappoint people. You will make mistakes. You will fail at things that matter deeply to you. You will lose opportunities. You will experience seasons of uncertainty. These are not signs that life is against you. They are signs that you are participating in life instead of hiding from it. A person who never fails usually never attempts anything meaningful. Every day gives you a quiet opportunity to put down one unnecessary burden. It may be a memory you no longer need to replay. It may be an apology you owe yourself. It may be unrealistic expectations that leave you feeling inadequate. It may be comparing your journey to someone else's success. None of these burdens move you forward. They simply exhaust your spirit. Instead of filling your mind with emotional weight, fill it with purpose. Instead of carrying resentment, carry compassion. Instead of carrying fear, carry discipline. Instead of carrying regret, carry wisdom. These are burdens that make you stronger instead of weaker. They give direction instead of distraction. Remember, the strongest person is not the one who can carry the most pain. The strongest person is the one who knows when it is time to let it go. True strength is not measured by how much suffering you can endure. It is measured by your willingness to release what no longer serves your growth and step into the next chapter with an open heart, a clear mind, and the courage to finally live instead of merely survive. For many people, life becomes a series of reactions. Something happens, and they respond automatically. Someone criticizes them, and they become defensive. An unexpected problem appears, and anxiety takes over. A mistake is made, and self doubt immediately follows. They are not choosing their responses, they are repeating patterns that have been practiced for years. This is what survival mode looks like. It trains you to react quickly because, at one point, reacting may have protected you, but the same habits that once kept you safe can eventually prevent you from truly living. Living with intention begins when you realize that you are no longer obligated to respond to life the way you always have. Between every event and every reaction, there is a small space. It may only last a few seconds, but within that space lies your greatest freedom. In that moment, you can pause, you can breathe, you can choose. Instead of letting old emotions control your actions, you can allow wisdom to guide them. This simple practice changes the direction of your entire life because your future is not built by isolated moments of inspiration. It is built by thousands of intentional decisions. Most people believe that changing their life requires dramatic action, but transformation rarely arrives in dramatic ways. It begins quietly. It begins the morning you choose to wake up without reaching for excuses. It begins when you decide to spend 10 minutes improving your mind instead of feeding your distractions. It begins when you replace one unhealthy habit with one healthy one. These choices seem insignificant on a single day, but repeated consistently, they become the foundation of a completely different life. Intentional living also requires knowing where you are going. Imagine boarding a ship without choosing a destination. The wind may move you, the waves may carry you, but you will arrive wherever the current decides. Many people live exactly this way. They let other people's opinions determine their confidence. They let circumstances determine their mood. They let temporary emotions determine permanent decisions. Years pass, yet they wonder why they feel lost. The answer is simple. They never chose a direction. Ask yourself an honest question. What kind of person do you want to become? Not what career you want, not what possessions you want to own, not how you want others to see you. Who do you want to become? Do you want to become calm under pressure? Honest even when it is difficult? Disciplined when motivation disappears? Compassionate without becoming weak? Resilient without becoming cold? These qualities shape a meaningful life far more than external achievements ever could. Once your direction becomes clear, every decision becomes easier. Instead of asking, what feels comfortable, you begin asking, does this move me toward the person I want to become? Comfort often provides immediate pleasure but little growth. Intention may require effort today, but it creates peace tomorrow. Every disciplined action is a vote for your future self. Every excuse is a vote for remaining exactly where you are. Living intentionally also means accepting responsibility for your life. This does not mean blaming yourself for everything that happened in your past. Many painful experiences were outside your control, but your response from this day forward belongs to you. The moment you stop waiting for perfect circumstances, perfect timing, or perfect confidence is the moment your real journey begins. Waiting gives your power away. Responsibility gives it back. There will always be distractions competing for your attention. The world constantly encourages you to compare yourself with others, chase approval, and seek temporary pleasures that leave you feeling empty. If you do not intentionally choose what deserves your attention, someone else will choose it for you. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources because whatever receives your attention eventually shapes your character. Protect it carefully. Feed your mind with knowledge instead of noise. Spend your energy building your future instead of replaying your past. Intentional living is not about controlling everything around you. That is impossible. Life will continue to surprise you. Unexpected challenges will appear. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Seasons will change. But while you cannot control every event, you can control the principles by which you live. You can decide to remain patient instead of panicking. You can choose honesty over convenience. You can choose discipline over comfort. You can choose gratitude over complaint. These choices are always available, regardless of your circumstances. Do not underestimate the power of small daily rituals. A few moments of silence before beginning your day can strengthen your awareness. Reading a few pages of a meaningful book can reshape your thinking. Exercising your body can strengthen your discipline as much as your muscles. Reflecting each evening on your actions helps you recognize where you acted intentionally and where you simply reacted. Improvement is not found in perfection. It is found in honest reflection followed by consistent action. Remember that living intentionally does not mean becoming rigid or emotionless. It means allowing your values, not your impulses, to guide your decisions. Feel your emotions, but do not become their servant. Listen to your fears, but do not let them become your leader. A calm mind does not suppress emotion, it simply refuses to let emotion take control. The greatest transformation occurs when every ordinary day becomes an opportunity to practice your principles. You no longer wait for a perfect future to begin living. You make today's choices count. One intentional conversation, one disciplined action, one act of kindness, one courageous decision. These small moments, repeated over months and years, become the life you once dreamed of. You have spent enough time reacting to life as if every day were a battle. Now choose to live as though every day is an opportunity to grow. Your past may explain how you arrived here, but it does not have to decide where you go next. The direction of your future is determined by the intentions you practice today, one conscious choice at a time. Many people spend years chasing a life that looks successful from the outside while feeling completely empty on the inside. They work harder, earn more, collect achievements, and gain recognition, believing that fulfillment will arrive after the next milestone. Yet every accomplishment brings only temporary satisfaction before another goal takes its place. This cycle continues because the problem is not the lack of success, it is the absence of nourishment for the spirit. A life can appear full while the heart quietly starves. Your spirit does not grow stronger through endless comparison. It grows through alignment. It grows when your actions reflect your deepest values. It grows when your words are honest, your intentions are pure, and your daily habits support the person you wish to become. Every decision either feeds your inner peace or weakens it. Every habit either brings clarity or creates confusion. The quality of your life is determined not only by what you achieve, but by what you repeatedly practice. Many people believe they need extraordinary moments to feel alive. They wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect relationship, the perfect amount of money, or the perfect version of themselves before they allow happiness into their lives. But fulfillment has never been hidden inside extraordinary moments. It has always been waiting inside ordinary ones. It is found in the quiet morning before the world awakens. It is found in breathing deeply without rushing to the next task. It is found in speaking kindly when anger would be easier. It is found in finishing the work you promised yourself you would do. A meaningful life is built from ordinary moments lived with extraordinary awareness. If your days are filled only with obligations, eventually your soul begins to feel like a machine. You wake up to complete responsibilities, meet expectations, solve problems, and prepare for tomorrow. While responsibility is necessary, life cannot be sustained by responsibility alone. A healthy spirit also requires moments of silence, reflection, learning, creativity, gratitude, and genuine connection with others. Without these moments, even success begins to feel exhausting. Ask yourself a simple question: what truly restores your energy? Not what distracts you for a few minutes, but what genuinely leaves you feeling lighter, clearer, and more peaceful. There is a difference between escaping your life and nourishing it. Endless scrolling may distract your mind, but it rarely strengthens your character. Constant entertainment may fill your time, but it cannot replace inner fulfillment. Your spirit is strengthened through activities that deepen your awareness rather than numb it. This is why discipline is not the enemy of happiness. In many ways, discipline protects happiness. When you choose healthy routines, you are telling yourself that your future matters. When you exercise, read, meditate, pray, learn, or spend time developing your character, you are making deposits into your inner life. These small investments often seem insignificant in a single day, but over months and years, they become the foundation of lasting confidence and peace. Relationships also nourish the spirit more deeply than many realize. The people around you influence the direction of your thoughts. Spend enough time with those who constantly complain, and you may begin to see problems everywhere. Spend time with people who value growth, humility, honesty, and compassion, and those qualities begin to strengthen within you. Protect your environment, because your environment quietly shapes your identity. You do not need many people around you. You need people who encourage you to become wiser rather than louder, calmer rather than more reactive, stronger rather than more fearful. Equally important is the relationship you have with yourself. Many individuals speak to themselves with a level of harshness they would never use toward another human being. They criticize every mistake, magnify every weakness, and ignore every improvement. A spirit cannot flourish under constant self-condemnation. Hold yourself accountable, certainly, but also recognize your progress. Growth requires honesty, not cruelty. Every step forward deserves acknowledgement because every step strengthens the habit of becoming. Gratitude is another source of quiet strength. Gratitude does not deny hardship. Instead, it prevents hardship from becoming the only thing you see. Even during difficult seasons, there are lessons to learn, people to appreciate, abilities to develop, and opportunities to grow. A grateful mind notices possibilities that a resentful mind overlooks. This simple shift changes not only your emotions, but also your decisions. People who practice gratitude often become more resilient because they train themselves to recognize abundance even when life feels uncertain. Remember that peace is not something the world hands to you after everything becomes perfect. Peace is something you cultivate through the way you think, speak, and act. It grows when your values remain steady despite changing circumstances. It grows when you stop competing with everyone around you and begin competing only with the person you were yesterday. The strongest people are rarely the loudest. They are often the calmest because their confidence comes from within rather than from constant approval. As you continue your journey, do not ask only whether your career is growing, your income is increasing, or your reputation is improving. Ask whether your character is becoming stronger. Ask whether your heart is becoming lighter. Ask whether your daily choices are creating a life that feels meaningful when no one is watching. These questions matter because, in the end, a nourished spirit outlasts every temporary achievement. You have spent enough years proving that you can endure hardship. Now prove something even greater, that you can create a life rooted in wisdom, discipline, gratitude, compassion, and inner peace. When your spirit is nourished, success becomes something you enjoy rather than something you desperately chase. And that is the moment you stop existing merely to survive and begin living with a sense of purpose that no external circumstance can take away. There comes a moment in every person's journey when simply surviving is no longer enough. You reach a point where you realize that your greatest obstacle is no longer the world around you. It is the version of yourself that has become comfortable with merely enduring. Survival teaches resilience, but if you stay in survival mode for too long, it begins to rob you of curiosity, joy, creativity, and purpose. You become so focused on avoiding pain that you forget how to pursue fulfillment. That is why the next chapter of your life cannot be about surviving another day. It must be about living each day with intention. Living begins the moment you stop waiting for permission. Many people believe they need better circumstances before they can become happier, more confident, or more peaceful. They tell themselves, once I have more money, then I'll enjoy life. Once people understand me, then I'll feel free. Once my problems disappear, then I'll finally live. But life does not work that way. Waiting for perfect conditions is another form of survival. The truth is that peace is not found after the storm. It is developed while walking through it. You do not become alive because everything around you changes. You become alive because your relationship with life changes. Every morning gives you a choice. You can repeat yesterday without thinking, or you can consciously create today. Most people live on autopilot. They wake up with yesterday's worries, yesterday's habits, yesterday's fears, and yesterday's excuses. Days become weeks, weeks become years, and eventually they wonder where their life went. They never truly lived because they never truly chose. Living requires awareness. It asks you to pause before reacting. It asks you to notice your thoughts before believing them. It asks you to become the author of your actions instead of the prisoner of your emotions. The greatest freedom is not financial freedom or social freedom. It is freedom from the mind that constantly tells you that you are not enough. That voice has been with you for years. It compares you with others. It reminds you of your mistakes. It predicts failure before you even begin. It convinces you that staying small is safer than taking risks. But understand this, that voice is not your wisdom. It is your fear speaking through old experiences. You do not have to obey every thought that enters your mind. A disciplined person learns to observe thoughts without surrendering to them. To truly live, you must become someone who values growth more than comfort. Comfort feels safe, but it quietly steals your potential. Every meaningful transformation begins with discomfort. Muscles grow through resistance. Character grows through responsibility. Wisdom grows through reflection. Confidence grows through action. If you spend your entire life protecting yourself from discomfort, you also protect yourself from becoming the person you were created to be. Living also means learning to appreciate ordinary moments. Society teaches that happiness comes from extraordinary achievements, but a peaceful mind understands something deeper. Life is built from ordinary mornings, quiet conversations, simple meals, honest work, moments of silence, and acts of kindness that nobody notices. If you cannot appreciate ordinary days, extraordinary days will never be enough. Gratitude transforms what seems ordinary into something sacred. It teaches you that abundance is often hidden inside simplicity. There is another habit that separates those who survive from those who truly live. They stop carrying yesterday into today. Every disappointment teaches a lesson, but many people carry the pain long after the lesson has been learned. They replay old conversations, old failures, old betrayals, believing that remembering their pain somehow protects them from experiencing it again. Instead, it only prevents them from experiencing peace. Forgiveness does not erase the past. It simply removes the past's authority over your future. When you release resentment, you do not free the other person. You free yourself. Living with purpose also requires discipline. Passion is temporary, but discipline remains when motivation disappears. The person who changes their life is not the one who feels inspired every day. It is the one who continues doing what is necessary, even when no one is watching, even when progress feels slow, even when results are invisible. Great lives are not built by dramatic moments of inspiration. They are built by thousands of quiet decisions repeated consistently. You must also learn to measure success differently. Success is not simply collecting possessions, titles, or applause. If your achievements cost you your peace, your integrity, or your health, then the price was too high. True success is becoming someone who remains calm during chaos, humble during victory, patient during difficulty, and grateful through every season. It is the ability to sleep peacefully because your conscience is clear. It is the confidence that comes from living according to your values rather than chasing the approval of strangers. Do not underestimate the power of your presence. The world does not only need people who achieve great things, it needs people whose character brings peace wherever they go. A calm person influences an anxious room. A disciplined person inspires without speaking. A compassionate person reminds others that kindness still exists. The life you build within yourself quietly becomes a gift to everyone around you. Remember that your past has already done its work. It taught you endurance. It revealed your strength. It shaped your resilience. Honor those lessons, but do not continue living inside them. The chapter of survival has fulfilled its purpose. It prepared you for this moment. Now your responsibility is different. It is not merely to endure another day, but to embrace each day with awareness, courage, gratitude, and intention. You have survived disappointment. You have survived uncertainty. You have survived fear, failure, loneliness, and moments when you doubted your own strength. Those experiences proved that you could endure. But endurance was never meant to become your destination. It was only the bridge. Beyond that bridge is the life you have been postponing. The life where you stop existing on instinct and begin living with purpose. So walk forward without asking whether you are ready. Readiness comes through action, not hesitation. Choose growth over comfort, peace over resentment, discipline over excuses, and purpose over fear. Your life is happening now, not someday. You have survived long enough. The greatest way to honor everything you have overcome is not to continue surviving. It is to finally, completely, and courageously live.